Hi everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet, my plush user for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Due to the graphic and disturbing nature of the crimes discussed, listener discretion is advised.
Killing 15 Killing 15 Killing 15 minutes.
Hello. Yes. It is I, Sam Rossi. And we're continuing the AJ Files gimmick while I'm still busting my hump at the grocerant we all just bought. So please donate to our Patreon. We are ever so broke now. But in all seriousness, after the Menendez brothers didn't live up to AJ's expectation, he is now going off the chain to make me talk about uncomfortable cases that may be controversial. So, additional trigger warnings for some minor political talk, race, gender, sexually based violence, and again, just bad stuff. It's like this is a crime show or something.
Wicked how that works out, isn't it?
Ain't it? On November 27th, 1978, former San Francisco Supervisor Dan White snuck through a basement window of a San Francisco City Hall with a Smith & Wesson Model 36 revolver. His service revolver from when he was in the police department years prior. He was there for one purpose. He confronted San Francisco Mayor George Moscone about being reinstated to the Board of Supervisors, a position he resigned from, and all the paperwork had been filed and approved. Moscone had already named his successor and was even scheduled to announce it publicly. But that wouldn't happen. White shot Moscone 3 times, bringing the mayor to the ground, then executed him with 2 point-blank shots behind his right ear. He wasn't done, though. After killing the mayor, Dan White ran to the Board of Supervisors Hall, which each member had their own cubicle, and he confronted Harvey Milk. After a minor conversation, Dan White would then empty his 5-shot revolver into him, finishing him with a shot to the head and then an overkill shot at point blank. He would then leave and turn himself in to his former precinct. San Francisco had been a powder keg in the 1970s, with homophobia still being not just culturally accepted but law, with militant groups bombing places, and then this, rather than Dan White's trial. There's somewhat infamous bit of the trial called the Twinkie Defense. White's defense attorneys pushed hard about his mental state. And you kind of see where he was. White resigned because of Prop 13, which was something about capping property taxes that hurt his side hustle, because Board of Supervisors were making a pittance at the time. He was depressed, and when he was unable to secure his previous job, he decided to kill people. He even said that it wasn't premeditated, despite the fact that he weaseled his way in through the window to avoid metal detectors so he could be armed to make said request. That's pretty premeditated.
I would say that's pretty premeditated, right?
Yeah. The reason this is called a Twinkie defense is that the defense used White's diet that include Twinkies to show and somewhat explain his demented behavior. It wasn't his fault. He was hopped up on the junk food, which again, sort of not a bad defense.
It technically isn't a bad defense, and I do want to say that because everyone, even at the time, knew that junk food is not nutritionally viable, and too much sugar, not enough everything else, can cause mental issues. Sluggish brain development, shit like that. However, I do want to state that it wasn't all resting on Twinkies. While it is called the Twinkie Defense, it was more just an example of where he was. That being said, keep reading, because while you could see that, okay, that might be a okay defense, it's the verdict that caused people kind of just keep reading.
I don't like this one.
Made me do Adam Walsh. Fuck you.
No! I don't like the joke you made.
Oh, which joke did I make?
I can't say it on record. Then I have to edit it.
What joke? What about Hitler? What the hell joke are you looking at? A Twinkie defense. Oh, don't blame Hitler, he was a vegetarian. Oh, that.
Maybe a bit of an extreme joke there.
It is an extreme joke. But it's kind of what they were doing. It's the, oh, you can't blame what he did violence-wise. He wasn't getting proper nutrition. It's an apt joke.
Dan White should have had life in prison or even gotten the death penalty. He was charged with first-degree murder and had two special circumstances that made it that he was eligible for the death penalty. He instead was found guilty of voluntary manslaughter and got 7 years and some change. 2 deaths, 10 rounds, and he was essentially slapped on the wrist. Wow!
I know, that's a fact that fucking kills me.
Every time. A bit of perspective. Around this time, the mandatory minimum for selling more than 2 ounces of weed in New York at that time was 15 years incarceration. Yep. This was the catalyst. May 21st, 1979. Clive Jones, an activist and personal friend of Harvey Milk, told a crowd of 500 people the verdict, and the protest truly began. Sidebar. I really loved the reporters shouting of out of the bars and into the streets as the crowd marched. Castro Street filled their ranks, and by the time they reached City Hall, over 5,000 people were there, and they were livid. Despite attempts from prominent figures in the community, including Scott Smith, Milk's longtime partner, a riot was inevitable. Police were called in mass, and covering their badge numbers as they did and still do, went into the riot at no cost at all. Hours later, it was diminished, but it was not the end.
Do you know why they cover their badges? Identification. Now they cover their faces and don't even carry badges, but we're not talking about ICE right now.
When the rioting at City Hall was done, police officers loaded up and went into the Castro district and went on a retaliatory raid. Retaliatory.
Not just my favorite Italian pasta. No, that's a joke.
Rigatoni?
Yes, they went on a rigatoni raid in the gay district.
No specific purpose but to destroy a gay bar and beat the snot out of any gay person they could find. It took the police chief, Charles Gain, to go down and end the retaliation at the Elephant Walk gay bar and surrounding area. By the end, the White Night riot had 61 police officers and roughly 100 civilians hospitalized. A minor positive, though, was the civil grand jury did award the Elephant Walk about $140,000 in damages for the raid. As little as it really does help.
Pretty much, there is a small positive. A civil jury did at least say, hey, the state has to pay for this. Or the city needs to pay for this.
However, little as it was,
yeah,
really didn't help, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Somehow I feel there's not going to be any good way to end this series of episodes, is there?
Fuck the police.
I hate when they do this shit.
But here's the thing.
I see it from it's a catch-22, not a catch-22.
It's not.
I don't. I can see where certain things, why they have to disperse the crowd.
Well, no, I actually understand that. But here's the thing. He got 7 years for killing 2 people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't he said in court it wasn't premeditated.
Then why bring the gun?
Why bring the gun and why sneak in? He would have been able to come into the building because he was still on good standing enough to the point where he would be able to have a with Moscone. He would be able to talk with Moscone and beg and plead for his job back.
Right.
Or any job, you know what I mean? But he didn't. He went in with ill intent.
I agree.
And then, it wasn't that he shot once or twice in a heat of the moment. It was, he emptied the full thing, even walked over, double tap, execution.
Yep.
Then, he went to Harvey Milk on the other side of the building.
Reloaded.
Had to reload. Even past future Mayor Diane Feinstein.
I think so, yes.
who noticed and was like, "What you doing, bud?" Because he's sprinting down. It's not even that he's walking calmly. It is
Right.
he's in a manic episode. But there is premeditation. Even if you can argue maybe it was a heat of the moment with Moscone,
Yes.
he then went to kill someone else.
Yes.
That is where you lose any traction, or should lose any traction. You know what I mean?
And it's not even like he went postal.
No, it wasn't just that he started shooting people. It was, these are my targets.
These were my targets.
And I didn't bring it up in the main thing, but Dan White had a very conservative.
Upbringing.
He was a former PD.
Yep.
He was former firefighter. He was a conservative white guy. But
the all-American guy.
But the reason I didn't want to bring that up is because while that was a discussion point a lot of people bring up, at the same time,
I don't think being conservative white guy is what caused him to, lose his mind.
Well, there's where it's 50-50, because it is one of those things where Moscone was liberal.
Okay.
Not like super liberal. The gays still had a lot of issues, but he was a liberal mayor. Milk was Harvey fucking Milk.
Yep.
And it became this thing where it's like, if you cut the gays out, if you cut the liberalism out, you do see a very pitiful, pathetic person, as most bigots are. But I don't see it as directly a hate crime. I think it was a secondary hate crime. He did not like them for their liberalism, but ultimately that was not why he killed them.
No.
However, 7 fucking years.
Dude.
They deserve the riot they got. Let's be clear on this.
San Francisco didn't burn.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that it burned more when the cops raided than when the freaking gays were protesting.
Well, of course. And most of the time, it's because of the cops' retaliation to protesters that a riot even starts.
Usually, yes.
But I can also see where, you know what I mean? You got 5,000 people there calling for the head of Dan White. Or, the bullshit that's going on.
100 years before that, they would have gave him Dan White.
No, they wouldn't have. It was still a bunch of gay people asking.
No, they probably would have.
No, 100 years ago, Dan White would have been hung by the neck because he murdered 2 people.
Yeah, I don't like this special.
I know. This is not going to be a special that's going to be fun.
Well, his last name is Milk. Move over.
That's the joke. My gay, married, lesbian-ish sister. My sister, who is married to a woman, wants to end us talking about the White Night riots with his name's Milk Move over. Really? I'm AJ Carey.
I'm Sam Rossi.
Jesus Christ.
Later, y'all.